time factor is very important. The first land is given to developer, developer gives the flat. The third issue is the sale of the flats. When the sale is made to the society or to the outsider by the developer, from the developer's angle, when do you tax it? The court said that the starting point of the project for development would be the point of time when the entire property vests with the developer. Please note, what I am trying to emphasize here is the fact that you enter into a development agreement is not the starting point. It is the point of entering into the plot and taking possession. Not the construction also from the point of view of developer. It is the time when he comes into possession, that is the starting point on basis of which the entire capital gains, even in the hands of the developer, would start. Though, if the developer normally goes on in a business manner, the flats are stock in trade for the developer, and it would be partaking the character of business income. In a development agreement, the law went a little further in another decision reported in 124 TTJ, page 387, decision of the Pune Tribunal in the case of Tahir Ali Muhammad Punewala versus DCIT. Another interesting set of facts qua the development agreement. Mr. Poonawala acquired a piece of land which was ancestral property. Prices in the cantonment area in Pune rose phenomenally. He entered into a development agreement in 1995 with a developer. Time went on. In 1996, he received the advances, the amounts, and the finalization. Now, what Poonawala's chartered accountant advised him was that, see, in 1995, when you merely entered into a development agreement, there is no need for you to file or disclose this in the return of income. What you have received, the entire transaction was 4 crores with LA Builders, and he had received only 1 crore and subsequently 75. So the chartered accountants advised him that you do not disclose this in the return. When it was not disclosed, but shown by way of a note or something, the assessing officer issued notice under section 148 telling him that this is a case of reopening. The transaction was reflected and shown in the subsequent year, 1996, when the issue was that developers were actually in the development agreement, and that is the year. So the issue is the trigger in which year the development agreement took place, whether 95 or 96. In this case, the assessing officer came to the conclusion that it is 1995. The tribunal in this case also came to the conclusion that no, the agreement entered into with the developer was in 95 and not in 96. Argument of the assessee was that, see, number one, 37I form was yet to be received. Therefore, you cannot say that there is a finality which is arrived at. Number two, I have only received an advance money, not the total money. The tribunal in this case invoked the doctrine of part performance. And I want you to just understand this issue because it is very important. The tribunal in this case came to the conclusion and said that if you enter into a development agreement and substantial amount or an advance is given, here 1.75 crores out of 4 crores is given, then notwithstanding the fact that no possession has been given, the developer is ready to perform his part of the contract and develop it. Therefore, by virtue of doctrine of part performance, the documentation takes place and development agreement has crystallized. The argument is that if a builder, a developer, has given substantial amount, though called advance, and he is ready and willing to go into possession and construct it, then at that point of time, the doctrine of part performance comes into play, which is that the developer, if you don't perform your part of the promise, would go to a court of law and file a suit for specific performance of the contract. If a developer has a right of specific performance, and if he can sue you on the contract and make you perform on that particular transaction, then whichever way you look at it, the issue would be that there is transfer which has taken place because Section 2, Subclause 47, small 5, uses the word, even in the definition of transfer, part performance as contemplated under Section 53A of the Transfer of Property Act. Point to be noted from this decision of 124 TTJ 387, Tahir Muhammad Ali Muhammad Poonawala's case of the Pune Tribunal is that if you enter into a development agreement and advance is given, possession not given, but possession per force would be taken because the builder, the developer, is ready to perform his part of the contract, then in those circumstances, based on the doctrine of part performance in Section 53 capital A of the Transfer of Property Act, he has a right to file a suit for specific performance, and hence, definitely, the transaction has taken place. Coming to the point here, an important issue, that advances are given normally in a construction, development, or any contract concerning the issue of transfer of property. Question is whether an advance, earnest money given in one assessment year, transaction not completed in that assessment year, would that earnest money amount to income? Would it be liable to be taxed or not? See, the point is to be examined from 3 angles. The first, most important angle is, if you have given an advance, but no possession is given, the correct view would be that this remains as an advance, which you are just reflecting by way of a note in the balance sheet or in your P&L account. The second point is whether there is clause of forfeiture. If there is no clause of forfeiture of the amount, means if you say that there is no forfeiture, but forfeiture, if you do not fulfill or pay the amount, then the story is different. So forfeiture clause in the agreement has to be seen in this